What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. This podcast episode is brought to you by IBOW Training. As you know, we talk about training pretty frequently here on the show, and the IBOW has some amazing people that they work with in their network. Are you a designer, rapper, sign maker, or beyond? If you want to invest in your creativity for the future, IBOW Training is the right choice. IBOW is the nation's first training organization to offer training in all aspects of the rap industry, from quoting, design, printing, production, and installation. They offer a variety of training options such as training at your shop, group training classes nationwide, and even private design and print profile training through remote login. With trainers nationwide, IBOW offers support day and night by phone, and many of their trainers are within a day's reach for emergencies. IBOW is growing and will continue to support the industry in a positive manner. For more information, please visit ibowtraining.com. We are also brought to you by We Print Wraps. We Print Wraps is the industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps. How easy is it to order wraps? Well, all you have to do is sell the job. Go to weprinwraps.com, choose your desired film for the installation, upload your design, and if you're not a designer, no problem. They can design one for you and get your wraps delivered right to your door. They offer free nationwide shipping all across the U.S. and Canada on all orders over $500. And for exclusive listeners of the All Wrapped Up podcast, you can get 5% promo code when you type in the word All Wrapped Up at checkout to save on your next order today. Less risk, no overhead, wholesale printing. See why the industry pros love them. To get more information, visit weprinwraps.com. Our guest today started with screen printing and banners and apprenticed at another shop to gain more experience in the rap industry before jumping into his own business. Please give it up for the great and powerful Alvaro Alva. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading rap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. Alvaro, what's going on, brother?
Not much, just here, finishing up the day pretty much.
Yeah?
Yeah, just chilling. It's been a warm Monday here in Southern California.
I don't know, it's so cold here in Boston today. I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah, it peaked at 90 degrees today. I'm not looking forward to summer this year.
No? Why not? I mean, you're in sunny California. You're probably used to the heat, no?
90s is okay, but once it starts touching this 110, 115, it's just miserable. Yeah.
110, my God. Well, I hope you have AC.
I do, but my shop is pretty small. It's an old building, and it's not very well insulated, so around 3 or 4 o'clock, the heat just soaks in, and there's no getting rid of it no matter what's going on.
Jesus. Do you try to start early to kind of beat the heat?
Yeah, I try to get here between like 6:30, 7 a.m. during those days and get everything done before about 4 o'clock, because after that, it's just kind of, you're just stopped from all the heat, you know?
Yeah, it's miserable. Well, I've had to deal with similar situations too. I actually didn't have AC in my garage, and I was like at the mercy of like the weather outside and trying to figure all that out and balance it. It sucks, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at least it's better than it being cold sometimes, I feel like. I've been working with a lot of 3M, like color change vinyl recently.
Yeah.
And it gets so brittle when it's cold, and it's just not fun to install. So you gotta like lift it up to glass the film, and it'll just shatter on you.
Oh, nothing worse than getting a snap in the vinyl and getting a big crack down the middle of it. Oh my God. Yep. Are you able, was this recently or just in general?
I mean, just in general, but yeah, like where I'm working on a Mercedes Sprinter van right now that I'm doing in 3M heat mat glass. And I've had a couple scares where I'll have to lift up the film to glass it out, and you get that loud snap as you're releasing the adhesive from the car, and you're just kind of praying that it didn't break on me, You'd have a couple times where the film sore, but fortunately it was in the bleed area, so it didn't go onto like my actual panel.
Right. Yeah. Ooh, nothing worse than that, man. Do you work with a lot of color change? Like, as far as like your demographic, is a lot of your work color change, or a lot of it the commercial end?
Recently it's been a good mix of both. I don't really advertise the color change as much because I've got a few pretty big shops around me that do a lot of color change work, and they're well known for their color change stuff.
Yeah.
And like I DM'd you a couple of pictures of some of the competition around here doing full wraps for $700 to $1,300, So
Oof.
I figure, like, why even shot it? Like, I don't even want to compete with it, so I don't really. If someone asks for it, I'll quote it, but I don't go out of my way to look for the color change right now.
Yeah, I hear you. It's pretty, as far as like your area. You're over in Riverside, so there's quite a few shops in that area within a few miles, and
Yeah, like Premium Auto Styling is down the street actually. Gator Wraps is right in Ontario, so they do a lot of commercial stuff, and they're pretty big. There's a shop, 360 Wraps, that does a lot of commercial wraps as well. So, I mean, there's quite a bit of competition out here, but like everyone always says, there's so much business out there that there's no use getting hung up on the competition, right?
Right. Yeah. No reason to stress about that. There's business for everybody. It's just, everybody's going to bid on the same thing eventually. So.
Right. Exactly.
It all comes down to numbers at the end of the day, unfortunately.
Yeah, man.
Do you deal with a lot of like commercial fleets and stuff like that down there as well?
I haven't actually I don't really do too much fleet work, so it's been a lot of like smaller businesses, kind of, they've got their 2 or 3 work vehicles that they just want branded for obviously advertising purposes, and just kind of make it look more professional,
Right. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's in that smaller, kind of smaller business where they'll have like just a couple of vehicles, and it's been a lot of repeat business from that to the small business owners in the area. Like actually, it kind of worked out that my dad has a shop next door, and he does screen printing and embroidery, which is kind of how I actually got started with it all. And so a lot of all his customers have their own businesses, and they kind of bleed over to my side and all drop their cars for him and vice versa.
Wow. Well, before we get too deep into your background, your story, what do you got cracking over at the shop this week that you're working on?
So this week is already looking a little crazy. I'm a one-man shop, but looking nuts because last week was a circuit. But I've got a car in for ceramic throw right now. I've got that Mercedes Springer van that I got to finish up outside. And I've got a couple of hood and roof wraps that I've got scheduled for later in the week. And I've got a customer with an FRS that wants a custom livery installed before Saturday. So it's going to be, I'm going to get it done somehow, I guess.
Yeah, right? Did you already come up with the design for the FRS?
No, I mean, I've come up with a couple of designs, but every time I send it over to the client, they're like, oh, I want it, like, it doesn't reflect me or my car. I want it to be, it's not crazy enough. So I'm like, I don't think that feedback doesn't help me. And so I've kind of put it on the back burner for a couple of days and trying to get back into it. We have a day or two to get it finalized for them.
That must be tough, dude. I know the rat race with being a one-man shop and going back and forth, trying to do revisions on top of us trying to get money in and finish some installs and try to get those jobs out the door. It's a tough gig to be by yourself. Any kind of talks as far as trying to get another person into the shop to help you out?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, big props to I know there's a lot of big installers out there that have been filled for a long time, but I definitely want to get an extra hand or two in here. I mean, probably look for someone that would be more like front office graphic design oriented, because I feel like that's where the bottleneck is right now. And they could handle speaking with the customers and going back and forth with revisions and all of that on the design. So I'm just doing this type of work to install.
Is that what you like to do mostly, is the installs?
Yeah, I kind of just like to rent it out, just ship the vinyl and start laying it down and just kind of go with it. I mean, I enjoy talking to customers also, but I feel like I could hire someone that would be better at it than I am.
Yeah, it's always a tough thing, when you're installing something and then a client walks in, you gotta get off the mindset of the installer and switch it over to salesperson mode, and when you're done talking to them, you gotta go back to installer mode. It sucks wearing all the hats.
Yeah, and then you could be in the middle of, a tricky part of a bumper or a roof or something, and you don't want to leave the film bridge too long, because then you get adhesive lines, you get a customer walks in, and now you're dealing with that, and just praying it doesn't look terrible by the time you get back to it again.
Yep. Do you ever bring clients back with you and talk to them while you're installing?
Yeah, all the time. My shop is pretty much like more open floor plan, so the office is, you got a direct view to the garage where I do all the work on the cars, and so I'm kind of always just multitasking when they walk in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't get that much walk-in traffic. It's more appointment-based, and if someone's coming in, I know they're coming in, but every once in a while I'll get a random that kind of swings by.
Yeah.
I guess it's just kind of how random it is that gets me most of the time.
Yeah, it's tough when you don't have that storefront look or that vibe. I know in California a lot of the areas it's like you guys are all kind of clustered in one kind of industrial area where it's just business all the way across. You're not by yourself. It's separate, but it's still together, and it's very different than it is here in Boston, because when people say, yeah, I got a storefront, it's like you show up and it's like, okay, there's 10 different businesses all connected to one,
right.
And when I think of a storefront, I think of a solo, its own building, its own area. It's kind of like yours. It's just, you have your own parking lot, your own spaces, et cetera, and in California, that's just the way it is down there. It's just
there's just these huge industrial complexes with, like you said, there could be 30 or 40 businesses in there.
Yeah.
You're sharing walls with everybody.
Yeah, I went to 3 different shops when I was in California last summer, and they were all in industrial areas. Not one was a standalone, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I see it being a beneficial thing because you get to know your neighbors, and generally when you want to move into a spot like that, you kind of want to do a little research and find out who's next to you. Maybe you can network with each other, like your neighbor does embroidery and T-shirts and stuff like that. That's a win-win. Someone goes to him and is like, hey, you know anybody that can wrap a car or letter it? It's like, yeah, go next door. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes, exactly.
It's vice versa,
Right, yeah, then there's always the flip side, you don't do enough research and you find out there's a wrap shop 2 doors down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you, man, I'll tell you, where I live, within a block radius, there's 3 different shops.
Oh, really?
Within a block, dude. It's crazy. You could literally throw a rock to each one from one location. It's crazy. It's a good thing because, well, it depends how you look at it. It's a good thing because there's a lot of business. No matter what.
Right.
You're going to be fighting for those jobs regardless if you're a mile away or a block away. It is what it is. But at the same time, these cats down here, man, they don't want to network, bro. It drives me nuts. These old school cats are just no, don't come over here. They put up a fence, you know what I mean? There's a big wall, it's dude, why? Why do they still do that? It drives me nuts.
Yeah, like I've been of the mindset of trying to, like you said, network and talk with other shops in the area, and I mean, just be friendly, right? Because I mean, there's no point in being hostile with anyone.
Right.
Like you said, there's enough business for everybody. So yeah, definitely run into a couple where they're very secretive and keep everything super close to the chest. So I guess they're scared that I'm there to take their clients or something, and that's not the case, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the secretive thing is one thing. Okay, you got your own processes and et cetera, but at the end of the day, like, God forbid it's a Friday and I'm out of vinyl or something, and I know you might have some, but I, come over and say, hey, can I buy some vinyl off of you? It's Friday, can't go to Fellers. They're going to be closed by the time I get there. Can we, something like that. Like, God forbid something happens and you get into a pinch. It's like, you almost, like, your pride gets the best of you. It's like, oh, I'm not going to go call so-and-so because he's my competition. Yeah. It's like, dude, okay. So you're going to make your client wait till Monday? Like, that's stupid.
Right.
Why would you put yourself in that kind of predicament or that scenario when you could just get the job done and just swallow your pride, go over, introduce yourself, say, hey, just wondering if you got some Oracal 651, blue or whatever. I needed like a yard. I ran out. It's like people just rather not do that,
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, it just kind of comes down to that pride and ego. Like, I don't want to go to my competition because then who knows what's going through the mind, right? Like, oh, maybe they think I don't got it together because I didn't buy enough film or whatever.
Yeah. It just drives me nuts that there's still people out there, within the industry, that have been in the sign industry breaking into the wraps that still think that old school mentality of, oh, I shouldn't network, or I don't want to give any secrets, or this is my territory, my castle, don't come over here type of shit. And it's like, oh, okay, you're only hurting yourself, buddy. You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is what it is,
Yeah, man.
But I was gonna say, so you're trying to get more into the commercial stuff a little bit, get out of the color change because of the saturation in your area, then.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to get into the color change market, right? Like, anyone can just kind of call sellers and place an order for a roll of film, get a couple of squeegees in the blade, and start installing.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. And I mean, commercials starting to open up a little bit more with like reprint wraps. You can just place an order for your printed wrap and install it that way. But it takes a little bit more work between the graphic design and going back and forth with the client.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit more of a barrier to entry there still.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's just so much price gouging on the color change and like the restyling side of it that I've kind of been not pushing it because I don't want to spend a week to wrap someone's car and only charge $1,800 for it. Like I could be doing other things, but net more money, I guess. And it's also not about chasing the money, but at the end of the day, you got to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, man, absolutely. That, and and unfortunately, fortunately, the commercial game is what pays the bills because it's constant.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It's not a customization thing for a client where they get the satisfaction, but the likelihood of them talking about you more often and et cetera, to get more leads, it's going to be less. But the commercial game, it's like, oh, dude, where'd you get your truck lettered? Oh, all right. That's just constant work all the time, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's print cut.
Color change side. Yeah, exactly. And like that color change side is like, it's almost niche, right? Like, it's a very specific client that wants to change the color of their car to something else or do chrome deletes, and it's a lot harder to find that client where every business is interested in advertising, whether it be simple lettering or half wrap or even a full wrap,
Right. Right. And even the dude, even the Chrome deletes aren't even worth it at this point. You know what I mean? You do your time compared to material, and it's not even. It sometimes doesn't even come close, man.
Yep. Yeah. Like Chrome deletes are that job that I feel my go away price. You know, like I'll be like.
My go away price? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's like, so if I want to do the Chrome delete on my windows and my mirrors and my door handles and my front grill, I'm like, it'll be like $1,400, man.
Yeah.
So what this guy's going to do it for $300? I'm like, all right.
Go ahead. Good luck.
Like you said, you don't put any money in. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, very little money goes in terms of material costs. You put so many hours into it.
Right.
It's just a tedious job.
Right.
Like one miscut and you have this sliver of film that's glaring at you and you have to redo it.
Oh, yeah, a little piece of chrome's just like catching your eye. You're like, fucking really, dude? Like,
yep.
Cut that fucking thing just a fucking smidge too short. Man, I'll tell you, I spent the good half of my day today chrome deleting a Yukon Denali door handles.
Oh, boy.
Door handles. Those don't come off. Door handles.
Those have the black plastic on the inside, right? So there's at least
no.
wrap the inside of them.
No, yeah. So they have the black plastic on the inside. They're not like the old school one piece with the chrome behind. It's little. Right. It's like one of those. It's the newer style. So it's got chrome at the top, and it just bevels over to the inside where you put your hand in, just a little bit, and then it's plastic. But then they put like the color of the car in the middle of the handle, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, handle's not coming off, and they have the button. Each one has a button on it, right? So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna take a page out of Kevin Kemp's install, and I'm like, I'm gonna time myself because I'm eager to see how long it takes me to wrap one handle. So I didn't wrap. So they're two pieces, right? So I didn't wrap the little nub where like the keyhole would go. I just wrapped the handle part, dude. 25 minutes to wrap one.
Yep, sounds about right.
I'm like, holy shit, like that's crazy. So I'm like, okay, times that times 4. There's 2 hours. Let's just say 2 hours. Right. And then I haven't even touched the little part yet. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm about 2. I start at 9, 2 hours in, 10, 11, 11:30. I'm just cleaning up. I'm doing the back piece just over the license plate.
Oh, right.
That takes me about 30 minutes to cut and trim and put the new matte black GMC logo on the back and make it all nice. And I'm like, what am I going to do with these little nubs? Because I'm wrapping the inside of it too. So like when you pull the door handle, you know, when you can see like
the section.
Yeah. So I'm doing the insides of those two as one piece, and then I'm doing the whole handle with an overlay. So I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do those little nub pieces with the insides. I got to take them off. Right. So I take the little rubber piece inside the door out. I unscrew it with I think it's like a T8 or whatever it is, and pulling it out, dude. Take them all out. I get to the driver's door. It's like this huge like screw with a washer on it. It's not like all the other ones. I'm like, what the hell is this? I tried researching it.
When that happens.
Dude, I'm like, why is this one so different? And it's got to be the driver's side, the one that the person's always going to see. I'm like, how the hell am I going to wrap the inside of that and the outside? I'm like, no way. Dude, I got done putting all the emblems back on because we debadged it and put all matte black emblems on it.
Okay.
I had to redo a mirror because someone else wrapped the mirror, and then it started getting the crow's feet at the bottom.
Correct. Yep.
So I had to redo the mirror. So I did a mirror, 4 door handles fully, well, partially, whatnot. The back trunk section, bro. Tell me how I didn't finish till like 4:30. From 9 to 4:30. Like I feel like I did nothing all day.
Yeah, and like that chrome delete, right? The satisfaction at the end of, like, when you're done isn't very, like, you don't really feel like you've done so much, and then you spent so much time on it, and God forbid you have to redo it beforehand, though, right? It's like there goes another 30 minutes.
Dude, yeah. Well, the thing is, once you get into like, if you mess it up while you're putting it on, okay, whatever. But when you're done trimming and then it gets messed up, it's like, dude, I just spent 10 minutes trimming. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's what always happens, right? The trimming on chrome delete that always gets you. Like, laying it down is fine, but once it comes down to trimming all the excess away, if you just cut a little too close and you have that sliver of chrome, like, that's not going to fly. Time to pull it.
Well, the thing is, it bothers you. It's like, and then you start, it's funny because you almost try to, like, weasel your way out of it yourself. You're like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, do you think the client will see that? You think that will go? You think that will pass? You think, like, and then nothing worse than doing it and then you mess up again and it's probably a little bit worse than the first time. You're like, shit, I should have just left it. Like, it probably would have been better.
Have that happened a couple of times?
Dude, it's like a circle. It's a circle.
I had to do a chrome delete on the Tesla Model S mirrors, and those are a nightmare to do.
You gotta take the bezel out, no?
I actually just left everything together. I didn't want to mess with trying to take it apart, and so it was a nightmare trying to wrap it, because when they lock the car, the mirror folds and more chrome gets revealed, and so like templating all the sections that get revealed when it closes and then opening it. It just took forever. It looked seamless. It took like 6 or 7 pieces on that mirror.
6 or 7 pieces. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's quite a few on there. I mean, I might be exaggerating, but there's a few inlays there just to, like I said, get full coverage without ripping the whole mirror apart. And I put some forward floors without taking Tesla mirrors off. I didn't want to mess with that.
Tesla's got to be, that's probably the most popular car right now, probably, to get a chrome delete package, because like everything's chrome. You figure that the door handles, because they pop out chrome, the mirrors with the bezel that it's in, it's chrome. The whole window trim's all chrome. There's a lot of chrome in those things, and to sit there and be like,
they don't have like a blackout package already,
right?
From
just
the factory.
Charge $500 more for a blackout. Like, save us the $600 or $700 or $800 packages that we put together to do those things.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And the amount of, you sit there and you say, okay, a Tesla, let's just say maybe like $600 to $800 to do a full blackout on it. Like,
right.
But it still sucks. It's going to take you a day, maybe a day and a half to do it.
Shit, people come and ask for chrome delete. I'm like, oh yeah, it's not much. I just want window trims and handles and the grill. I'm like, yeah, it's going to take me at least 8 hours to get it done. It's just a whole day job.
Yeah, that's if something doesn't go wrong.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, like doing chrome delete, like on like truck mirrors, they have that 90-degree space, and everyone wants everything in one piece.
Oh yeah, no, not working like an asshole, dude. Like,
right, exactly.
One piece, go fuck yourself, dude. Like, no way.
Yeah, like there's gonna be a seam in here, because I mean the chrome already has that seam. Like they seamed it from the factory, so I'm gonna seam it on the vinyl, and it's gonna look fine. You won't even notice.
Right. The less you know, the better. I'll get it done.
Yeah,
it's gonna look beautiful. Don't worry about it.
And you're not gonna have stuff lifting up in weeks from now because I tried to stretch the film all the way around.
You know what car sucks to do? The Mercedes, the 4-door Mercedes, because it's all one piece.
All Mercedes sucks to do.
Yeah, it's all one piece, and it comes down the little side mirror on the side window on the back, and then it does a quick 90. There's no break there.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Tesla too, right? The Model S, I think it's like that.
Yeah.
The chrome goes from the back window all the way over that entire the doors.
And then some of the not older Mercedes, but some of them, they have like a 1.5, 2-inch piece. When you open the doors, it's like 1 to 2 inch piece of chrome. It's all one piece, like the outside, and then it comes inside another like 1.5, 2 inches.
Right.
So you got to cover that thing, and then that thing's like, it's like I don't know, it's like channeled kind of. There's like little waves in it, and then you got to fucking heat it and hit it with a Rolly Pro or something, dude. I had to do my buddies a while back, and it was like a 2-day process. I'm like, guy, I'm not doing this in one day. Like, no thanks.
Yeah, my cousin bought a Mercedes. He's like, hey, how much to be a chrome delete? I just haven't responded. I'm like, man, I don't want to touch that.
I'll give you the vinyl. Do it yourself.
Right? Here's a roll of chrome delete from sellers.
Right. Chrome delete, here's a squeegee and a freaking blade, dude. Go to town.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, it's not even... It's crazy. I mean, it's good money if you can throw like 2 or 3 people on it.
Right, exactly.
It's not a one-person job. No way.
Yeah, I mean, you throw one person on it, and they just go insane because, like, your eyes just get tired from staring at. Because I mean, you have to focus pretty good to get all this perfect stuff, especially on like window trim. Sometimes the rubbers don't move, and so you have to have like an extremely flush cut there, and you just
cut the rubber.
Focus 100% the entire day.
Yeah, dude, cut the rubber. It's just
that's the worst.
Oh my god, dude! Like, you know, you cut it a little bit, and then they take it to the car wash or something, and all of a sudden it's like flapping down because you cut it away. Yeah. They're like, oh, you know, something's going on with my rubber here. I don't know what happened. You know, it's
right. Car wash must have done it, right?
Yeah, you know, you do. You blame the car wash. I told you not to go through the car wash, dude. What the hell?
Exactly.
It won't last if you go through the car wash. Oh, dude, it's you know, that's a gamble. That's a gamble you pay, and then what? And then you got to replace that molding. You know,
right?
It's not worth it. It's not worth cutting it.
Yeah, sometimes I'll even put knifeless there, but even then, like, if your filament isn't like perfectly straight on that chrome, you still have to try to trim some away, or maybe it's short and replace the knifeless ends a bunch of times.
Yeah. And then the knifeless, and then the knifeless doesn't stick to rubber, so it's gonna move.
Right, exactly.
You know, so it's you're gambling a little bit with it, but you know, I'd almost pay for a template to be created for specific cars, obviously, like BMWs, 100%, because that's kind of where this all sparked from. It's everyone that didn't have an M3, you know, wanted the chrome delete because the M3s were the only ones that came with it. All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, dude, I got put on a forum by one person, and I must have been doing chrome deletes, I don't know, 3 or 4 a week at least. One Beamer guy put my information on this forum, this BMW forum, and I was literally getting people from like Rhode Island, Connecticut, Providence, New Hampshire, driving hours just to come to me to do these chrome deletes. And you know, it was good. I was charging great money for them. You know, doing You ever do the BMW convertibles? When the tops go down, you get that big, long, swoopy chrome on the back of the seat.
Yep.
Oh, dude, those things suck. How much film do you throw away because you're doing all that in one piece? Right.
It's like the same thing with those Mercedes and Tesla pieces, right? It's like 10 feet long, and you have to cut this huge piece with the chrome.
10,
there's no break in it.
10 feet for a 1-inch strip. Like, what the hell,
exactly.
man? Dude, it drives me nuts. But, you know, I was making great money. $600-$700 a pop. Yeah, bring them in. No problem.
Yep.
You know,
yeah,
line them up.
Actually, like, it's funny that you mentioned the Tesla, because a couple of the cars, like that Tesla that I had in, And I had a couple Honda Civics coming in for chrome deletes, funny enough, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the first one, take my time, get some application tape, make some templates on it, and just did that. Just basically cut all the window trim out in 1080 gloss black, and I already had it all templated out, and pretty much everything was flush. I didn't have to cut. It took a bit of time, but saved me a bunch on the back end and worrying about cutting stainless leathers or just having to redo pieces, you know?
Right. Yeah. Imagine if we had a template for those.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd save us cutting, one. Two, it would save us a hell of a lot of time. You know, if you're only cutting the ends, you know, you bleed it out 1 inch, so you got a little bit of play.
Right, exactly.
I'll cut the ends over cutting rubber.
Overlay on the inside.
Right.
On the edge piece.
Yeah. Yeah. You can use those little nuggets on the ends and cap the ends with it. You know what I mean? Two-piece it.
Exactly, yeah.
Win-win. I might think about that. That would take a while though to you know, it takes a little while to template a car for a vehicle template, but you know, you get into nitty-gritty with like trim work and shit like that. I mean, if there was some specific ones out there, man, I would spend $20 for a template. You know?
I mean, even if, like, fortunately with the window trims and stuff, you only have to do one side, right? You get that, and then you mirror it, and you're good to go.
Right, exactly. You gotta do it once, that's it. That's the hardest part, is getting it done, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The trial and error is what sucks, but once you have that, man, you probably cut your time more than half. Easily.
Yeah, you just send it to the plotter, and then just line it up, and squeegee and call it a day.
There's gotta be someone out there doing it. There's got to be someone out there. Think about it. PPF, all the templates they make to cut for the, you know, for the bumpers, especially for a fucking BMW. Jesus Christ. Like all the little inlays you got to put, like, there's got to be somebody out there doing it. If not, I'm going to be the first.
You're going to start doing it. Go to the market and just a couple of weeks. I'm going to see you setting up all your chrome templates up online.
Hey.
Just selling kits.
The hottest,
for like chrome delete.
The hottest part is starting. You know, in my mind, I've already started. I'm gonna start doing the most common cars, Teslas, all day long. You know, if I can find one, I'll template the shit out of it. You know, couple.
There's only 3 of them, right?
Right, exactly, and they're all the same. You know.
Yep, exactly.
You get a couple BMWs, you know, 4-door, 2-door, a couple SUVs. Maybe I should do a poll on which cars get chrome deletes done and just get those done first. Boom, done.
Yep.
I think everybody would sell more if there was a template for it over cutting it by hand.
It'd be so much easier, and again, you're not spending 8 hours trying to get a chrome delete done.
Oh my God!
Hitting cut on your software, your plotter cuts it out, and then you just lay this perfectly templated strip down onto the chrome, right?
It's fucking music.
Nothing to trim away.
Music to my ears, man.
Exactly.
It makes my heart feel good. You know? And then if you get the nitty gritty and make templates for like door handles, oh my God, dude. Like, game changer right there.
I think it would be throwing money at it. Door handles for this Tesla and just throw you a couple $100 to find one and template it and show them the template.
Easily. How many templates do you think you'd sell just on a Tesla alone, dude? Like, there's so many people out there doing Teslas. There's got to be hundreds getting done every day.
Yeah, easily. I mean, like the Model 3 and the Model S are like one of the most popular cars right now, like you said, and that's one of the things everyone does. They clear about the front end and chrome delete everything.
Problem is, I couldn't keep up with demand. I don't think. I probably couldn't. Even if I started with Teslas, people are like, oh my God, I want my 98 Honda Accord done. It's like,
yeah. It's like,
yeah.
I've only gotten one request for that in the last 2 years. I don't think I'm going to be doing a Tesla for that car.
Yeah. Well, dude, you'd be surprised.
Yep.
You'd be surprised. It's like, damn, dude, you're going to spend more money chrome deleting your car than what your car's worth. That's crazy. What?
Exactly.
Come on. All right, enough about chrome deletes.
We could go on for hours about chrome deletes, man.
Yeah, man. It's just, it's, don't get me wrong. It's great money. It's just, we need to figure out a better streamlined way to make it profitable, Yep. Time is money, and we're spending way too much time doing it. If templating is the way that it goes, then I'm doing it first, and you're hearing it first. Nobody take my idea.
Follow up on a couple of weeks and see how many templates you've got done.
Weeks, dude. I don't even
think 1 or 2 done. I'd be impressed.
But 1 or 2, thank you. Okay, all right, 1 or 2, you'd be impressed. Good. So I got my work.
Not even the full car, just like windows. I think that'd be a solid goal.
Why not?
1 a week or so. Yeah.
One a week would be ideal. Problem is, I don't have a cutter. I don't have a cutter here at home. So,
okay.
So I'd have to create templates first with a lot of measurements, and then thank God I know how to read a tape measure, because that would be a nightmare. Right? And
the nice thing is, I mean, you don't even need a big spotter, right? Because most of the pieces aren't much bigger than 24, 30 inches.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, for those big swooping windows, I mean, that is your biggest piece, and most of them are broken up, and you can just get away with 1 inch or 2 inch strip. Cut down from 1080 to like 30 inches, and you're good to go.
Yeah. I think they, when you buy those strips on Feller's, the Feller's catalog for chrome deletes, it's like the 2-inch, 3-inch strips. I think putting it on isn't the problem. It's the trimming part,
Yeah, like, I wish it was half the size, because, I mean, half the time you're just trimming off 50-60% of the material anyways.
Right.
That's just a freaking sin.
I mean, it's good that you can line up one edge, like the one bottom edge you can line up and just...
Right, yeah, that's true.
So you're only going to cut one side as opposed to 2 sides. It's a win-win, but still, it's time. Still time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, all right. Enough talking about that.
Like I said, follow up in a couple of weeks and see how many templates you've got done.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath, though. Don't hold your breath, because it's just, I got so much.
You're gonna see me throwing templates up there in a couple of weeks.
You might. Hey, dude, whatever. Let's not work together. Let's be the only 2 with templates. Right. You know what I mean? It's a win-win. Man, that's crazy. Well, enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about your story and how you got into the industry and what sparked opening up your own shop, man.
Sounds good. All right, so basically, I started. Well, all right, let's see. I'm trying to compose myself here. So I was in college, going to school for chemical engineering, and as I mentioned earlier, my parents have a business and they do screen printing and embroidery.
Mm-hmm.
So on my spare time, I help them with the graphic design, doing like their color separations and stuff for the screen printing side, and helping them digitize logos for the embroidery stuff. So that's kind of how I got started with the graphic side of it. And my dad does a lot of stuff for local softball and like baseball teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they always want uniforms with like their logos, names, and numbers, and then we'd be doing team banners all the time. But we didn't have a printer, so you'd have to source the banners from somewhere else, and it was just a hassle because the company that would get them from would always take forever to get the banners made, and teams would get mad, and it was a hassle. So we ended up buying a printer, and basically I was in charge of running it, but she's doing all the graphic design for doing the banners, and then we started getting into sending like vehicle magnets and smaller decals for cars, and that's kind of where it started. I mean, I was just doing lettering and stuff on vehicles, and I was scrolling through Instagram one day, and saw that people were doing color changes on their cars. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And I think this was back in like 2012, so pretty recently.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wonder how much they charge. And I asked a couple of shops that were pretty popular on Instagram, and I was getting quoted like $3,000, $3,500. And I was like, I'm in college, I can't afford that. So I bought a roll of film and basically just kind of learned by fire, trial by fire, and just installing on my own car, and posted it up, and a couple of my friends saw it, and they asked me to wrap their cars, and kind of went from there. And so for the first like year and a half or so, I was just doing roof wraps or hood wraps, small little jobs. I'd get like bigger commercial jobs, which would be like a half wrap on a E350 van or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't staying busy enough to really get good at wrapping cars. I'd do maybe like one car every 4 or 5 weeks, and the rest was just like printing banners and small signs, like the real estate lawn signs and stuff.
All right.
So I think it was 2015, we went to SEMA, and I saw all the shops and everything. So basically all the installers up there that were just in booth wrapping cars. I think I passed by the Avery Dennison booth, and I was just kind of watching Get and Pace and all the guys in that booth do their thing and learn about the Wrap Institute. And basically signed up for the Wrap Institute and basically just binge watched everything on there. And just trying to soak up as much as I could, and again, just kind of getting a car here and there, slowly practicing. And at some point, I was like, I'm not getting enough time with the material to learn and get really good at it. I think I should go work for a shop that is busy and would be willing to teach me.
No.
And so I was looking around on Instagram. I don't really want to name drop, but GBX Wraps up in Oregon posted that they were hiring, and I sent them a message, and I was like, hey, I live in SoCal, and I'm interested in the job. Would you guys be interested in hiring me? I'm not extremely experienced, but I'd be willing to go up there and learn and work if you guys were willing to have me. And I'm like, oh, well, if you want to fly up for an interview, you're more than welcome to. So that weekend, I flew up for an interview, and they gave me a couple panels to wrap like on a Toyota RAV4. I got hired, and then I was there for, I think, about a year. Just wrapping cars every day and just learning as much as I could. And then, I mean, sometimes I kind of regret leaving as early as I did, but I felt like I was kind of getting too comfortable. Because I went up there with the intention of learning to come back, but just like pick up on my own business again,
Right.
And sometimes I feel like I left a little early, like I could have learned a lot more and just kind of honed my skills a bit more, but at the same time, I think I've learned everything I would have learned. It might have taken me a little bit longer, and I might have made a bit more mistakes along the way, but it all just kind of worked out. And now I'm just out here on my own doing my own thing,
Wow, dude. So you took the time, you took a whole year to kind of apprentice and get the skills and do it day in and day out over at PDX, you said, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane, dude. So how did that work out with you living in California and going up to Oregon all the time? How long was the drive or the flight or whatever?
Yeah, so, I mean, basically what happened is, they told me to come up for the interview. I went up for the interview. I wrapped like a hood and a rear quarter panel on this RAV4, and they called me up later that afternoon. They're like, hey, you're hired. How soon can you come up here? I was like, well, I've got a couple jobs back in SoCal that I got to finish up. Just some loose ends I need to tie up, and I'll be free in 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went home, finished up those jobs, and looked on Craigslist, found some guy renting a room for like $300 or something. Went to that room, stuffed all my stuff in my in my coupe and just drove up and moved out there.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
so you rented out a room for $300, what, a month?
Yep, yeah, $300 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the only catch was that I messaged this guy. I was like, hey, I'm going to be moving up there in a couple of weeks, and I need a place to crash. He's like, all right, cool, it'll be $300 a month. The only thing is I'm selling the house, and I'm trying to sell the house, so it's like we might only be here like 3 or 4 months. So that's fine, man. I just need a place to land when I get there, you know? And I'll figure it out after that. And so that was kind of funny. Yeah, and then he sold the house and I ended up renting an apartment and kind of hanging out there, rolling with Master Casey. And yeah, it was cool.
That's neat, man. I like that. I like that story, man. That's a lot of people wouldn't take that into initiative to kind of go work or apprentice for somebody, you know, and get some time underneath the knife and the squeegee to sharpen your skills. Cause I tell everybody, you know, you want to get into it. It's one thing to get into it and do it as a hobbyist. You know, you do one every couple weeks, maybe 2 every month. Like you really need to hone in on it and do it every single day. It has to be repetitive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way you're going to like figure it out. Like you can't until you get like, I don't know. They say, I know I said this a lot before, but, they say what? You got to be doing something 10,000 hours before you become a master at it.
Right. Yeah, I've heard something like that. Yeah.
Do the math on 10,000 hours. You figure, you know, 10,000 hours, that's how many years of work you need to. So it's 52, 10,000. Let's figure it out right now. Divided by, say, 52 weeks in a year. That's 192. It's 192. So what that would come out to 190. It was 193. So that would be 193 days. Does that make sense? 10,000 hours divided by. I wasn't very good at math, everybody. So just to put that in perspective, all right? Divided by.
Dude. Like 10,000 divided by 40 would give us 250 weeks, I think. And then divide that by, say, 52 weeks in a year. About 4.8 years, almost 5 years.
5 years. So you have to be doing this for what? Would you put in 40 weeks?
So 40 hours. So just 10 hours. It's 40 hours.
That's why I messed up.
Usually work about 40 hours a week.
Yeah. That's why I messed up. That's right. Yep. Divided by 40 and then divided by 52. Yep. Almost 5 years, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be doing that shit 5 years for 40 hours straight.
Yeah,
you figure, let's just say, all right, so so we figured out 5 years. Let's see how many vehicles that needs to be. Let's just say an average van for one person to do from start to finish takes them, let's just say 10 hours, maybe. How long does it take you to do a full van wrap?
Let's see, what are we talking, like an E250, just kind of a full, the big blocky one?
Ecoline or a Chevy Express van?
Yeah, I'd say about 10 hours.
Yeah, 10 hours. So you figure 10
hours. Taking my time with it.
Yeah, 10 hours is pretty good if you know what you're doing. So you figure 10 hours and you're doing 40 hours a week. So that's four vans. So you figure that's 4 vans a week. And then you multiply that times 52. What would you say? Yep, 52 weeks in a year times.
Was it 5 years?
5 years. It's 260. And then times what do we say it was? 4 vans a week? Yeah. Right?
Yep.
It's 1,040. You have to wrap 1,040 vans in order to get your 10,000 hours in 5 years. 1,000 vehicles. Let's just say 1,000 vehicles, period.
Right, yeah, that's one way to look at it, right?
You have to wrap 1,000 vehicles before you actually get it. Holy shit.
I wonder how many people have actually done that. I know there's a couple guys out there that put in tons of hours, you know.
Dude, I know people wrap 1,000 vehicles in 1 year.
That's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. They like working day and night. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You figure like our shop that I work out of, we probably wrap about, I don't know, we probably wrap a little over 1,000 vehicles a year. Yeah. Sounds about right. Pretty good number. It's a good number, but we have 10 installers. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
We're wrapping multiple vehicles a day. And we work 6 days. Well, we don't work 6 days, but the installers will work 6 days a week. It's a lot of square footage. I would like to see, which could never do the math, how many square feet that is per year. Woo! Wow.
Right. I mean, I figure a van is what, like 300 square feet or so?
Yeah.
Times 1,000? That's
yeah.
Is it 300,000? I don't know.
Dude,
a lot of square feet.
The installers alone last weekend, I think they said they were in a hotel. They screamed 2,000 square feet in one day. It was like five of them. And then the following day, they did another like 1,500. It's like, dude, how do your fingers stay on your hands? Like, that's crazy. Crazy square. And these guys work day and night. Like, these guys are like hustlers. Like, they're really good at what. Yeah. Well, dude, they got a great system. That's the key, man. Like, I think that's part of like knowing it is one thing, but when you got a good system, like you got one guy that knows, okay, I got to prep the shit out of this. This is the way I prep. And then boom, they're laying down panels. Like, when you don't have to talk and once the car comes in, you already know what you need to get done to get the panels on. Like, that's a good system, man. When you don't have to say nothing to nobody and everybody knows their own lane, it's just hanging and banging, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. And like, that's just kind of also like having a good team, right? That's been working with each other for a little while and kind of got the hang of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even new installers, like I've been working with a couple installers here locally recently, and after a couple of hours, you kind of figure out how they work, and if you've been doing it long enough, you kind of just get in a rhythm together, right? And
right.
Getting out cars and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's that unspoken rap language, I guess.
Yeah, it's just getting that momentum, dude. Like, once you kind of get that first panel on, you're on to your second. It's just like, all right. I'm feeling the groove now, you know.
Yeah, man.
Oof, it's crazy, but man, you know, being a one-man band, dude, that's, you know, it's crazy, dude. Answering the phones, installing, designing, production.
Yeah, definitely rough sometimes.
Yeah, dude, you're doing a lot. Like what? Like your days, you know, you had mentioned you try to come in a little early. You try to scoot out by 4 and beat the heat and all that. But how many times are you staying late?
Honestly, like I've been really good about cutting out of here at 6. I mean, I try to keep my days between 8 p.m. or like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But I'm just grinding that whole time that I'm here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it also just comes down to knowing how quickly I can get jobs done and scheduling appropriately. Because I know a lot of guys that will just keep taking jobs in because they don't want to say no to a customer or tell them that it's not going to be, that they can't get to it for another week, and now they have to work 20-hour shifts, you know? And that's just, I feel unhealthy, and it's not as fun as having that balance, you know?
Yeah, dude, believe me, I've been there. You know, 15-hour days. It just trying to trying to please the client, but at the end of the day, you're only burning the candlestick on both ends, and you're
right, exactly.
It's not healthy. You know what I mean? And believe me, you can get, and you could probably contest to this, is that you can get in the groove of getting work in and getting it done, and a year and a half will go by. You'll be like, shit, what year are we on? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Time's flying, dude.
Like, what you mean it's April?
Right?
Like, I thought it was just like February a couple of weeks ago. Like,
dude, it's being a business owner. It's you almost look at things quarterly. You don't even look at it week to week.
Exactly.
It's like, all right, this quarter, fucking, we're already in April. Holy shit, brand new quarter coming around. You know, how we gonna make some money this quarter? You know, it's
right.
And then
the funny thing is, like, I think that doesn't really get talked about being like a one man shop. Or it's easy to have working for that week, right? So I feel like a lot of people lose track and forget to look 1 or 2 or even 3 weeks ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, I'm completely booked this week, and they forget to book jobs for next week, and then they're dead in the water, you know? And
right.
That's kind of something I've been working on recently to, stay busy in the moment, but also make sure that I got stuff lined up for the next couple of weeks so that I'm not just sitting here twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah, or trying to look for new business. How do you mainly advertise? How do you market yourself?
So a lot of it has been recently. It's been a lot of word of mouth. I do a lot of Instagram and Facebook advertising as well, and that's been going pretty well for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like grassroots stuff, I guess, going to car shows and just kind of talking with the community and stuff. Like the BMW guys have been really good to me, and just kind of going out, hanging out, and not like shoving, like trying to sales pitch everyone I know, but kind of hanging out and just making friends, and that kind of just brought business my way, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah. Now, do you drive a BMW as well?
Yeah. So maybe you've seen that black and white BMW on that page with the stripes down the middle.
Yeah. The one with the red and blue and the white stripes.
Yep. Yeah, that's basically the shop car right now.
That's an M4, right?
M2.
M2, so like that's what it is.
Yeah, the baby M car. Yep.
Yeah. Great looking whip, man.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a labor of love for sure. Took a page out of the exotic rap guys and KP.
Mm-hmm.
KP's wrapped us on that one and kind of did a custom livery on it. And there's a lot of details in that wrap where, like, I probably wrapped that bumper 2 or 3 times before I actually put the graphics on it, where I just took scrap vinyl, wrapped it, took some Sharpie and drew all the body lines out, pulled it off, shrunk it back to relax it back again, and took pictures, put it in Photoshop, and kind of rendered all the, I guess, shadows and body highlights in there to kind of give it more of like a rendered or drawing effect. It's pretty subtle, but when you get up close and look at it, there's a lot of details in there that get missed in photos.
Wow. That's
probably,
details.
It's probably through like 60 hours in design work on that car. But then when it came to wrapping it, I probably had it in the shop for 2 days and tore it down, wrapped it, put it together, and was like, all right, that's it. I can't have it sitting in here for too long, you know?
Right. Yeah, you got to get it out there and advertise and promote.
Yeah.
Do you go to a lot of like BMW? Do you have a lot of BMW meets and stuff like that in your area?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, most of the stuff I go to is just like local cars and coffee, and just kind of, like I said, just trying to talk to all kinds of enthusiasts. I don't try to cater to like the BMW crowd.
Yeah.
But behind the car kind of just screams at them, and they end up kind of coming my way and asking questions, and it's just worth that. But I mean, I try to keep it open to everyone, because BMWs are cool, but it's always fun to do something like on an FRS or any other car that comes by, you know?
Right. Yeah, keep your options open.
Shake it up a little bit. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. That's what you got. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what you gotta kind of have to do. And if you want to, merge into that market, having the car as a showcase and as like your kind of like your marketing campaign, you know what I mean?
Right,
To
exactly.
show people what you can actually do, whether it be a livery or color change or window tint or ceramic pearl PPF. Because it's one thing that you do wraps, you know what I mean, and do that solo, but you also do PPF too, which that's gotta be miserable doing it by yourself. You know what I mean? That's a lot of time. It's a lot more time consuming than a wrap would be, right?
Honestly, I feel like it's a lot faster. I feel like I don't know. Recently, I've been liking the clear ball a little bit more than wraps. I think it's just kind of been a nice change of pace for me. And I've been enjoying it a lot. It's definitely a different install where like with wraps, you get like a little second touch here and there. But the graphic kind of hides it a little bit. But you can't really hide behind PPF. You know, it's clear, and if you get dust there, you're going to see it.
Yep. The flaws are visible with PPF.
Yes, exactly. And you try to get it as perfect as possible, but at the end of the day, you're selling protection, not perfection, right?
Yeah, that's tough. And you took the, what was it, Suntech training?
Yes, yeah, I went, got Suntech certified, spent a couple of days. It's right here in Anaheim, so it's about 30 minutes from my shop, so it's close and convenient. And
nice.
Yeah. I've been doing that I've been messing with PPF for about a year now. Really got into it in the last, 7-8 months, and I've been pushing it pretty hard. Like I said, there's a lot of color change and wrap guys around me, and not all of them do clear draw, and I figured it's a pretty good market to tap into since everyone else is going the color change way right now.
I'm really interested in the PPF. Only problem is I hate the demographics of the PPF because they're very, and I totally understand the reason why they go with buying power and having certain locations be the staple locations for that particular area, and buying power is huge for them. They don't want everybody to price gouge you know, a lot of people price gouge the color change market, and I get it, and and it's good, but I feel like someone like me that I want to get into, I don't have buying power. I have to get it through the main person in my area, and then I have to sell it for a profit. And I feel like that's the only shitty part about it. And I kind of like that everyone's starting to come out with it. Like 3M's had it for ever. But you can buy 3M.
Avery just released theirs, right?
Avery stepping up to the market. Hexus, their body fence, I heard is amazing.
I've been hearing good things about that one actually.
Yeah.
Final Victim and then I've been using it over there at Rap Session.
Yeah, and I even talked to the gang over at Dub over the summer when I was at RapsCon. You know, they do training as well. For the body fence, and it's crazy. But as far as someone like me that wants to get into the market, what would you recommend I do first? Do you think certifying, getting a certificate in it would be ideal, or do you think apprenticing at a shop for a couple months or taking a couple small courses in it would be best?
Honestly, I think apprenticeship is always going to be the best way to go if you can find someone that's willing to train you in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're going to have that constant interaction with the film and the job. The way I did it, I didn't have anyone that was willing to teach me in my area, so I was kind of just learning with a little bit that the Rap Institute had, and then I went and took that certification class, and it's a 3-day class, and once you finish, they're like, all right, here's a certification. Good luck. Sink or swim time. And you kind of just figure it out.
Wow. Now, are you able to buy rolls through Suntech, or do you have to buy it from someone else?
No, I buy it directly from Suntech. So I've been a registered vendor, I guess, for them for a bigger part of the year now, I think. And so yeah, I buy directly through them. And then I was buying film from them before I even got certified, so I don't think there's too many hurdles on that end. I know Excel, like you said, is very kind of territorial, so they don't want too many installers close to each other, so that there isn't this kind of
price gouging,
cannibalizing going on between installers.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like I know there's a couple of manufacturers like SX that have what they call like practice rolls, I guess. Rolls of film that have defects in them that they sell at the discounted price, just so that you can practice with the film. Or I mean, I guess you could sell it to a customer if they don't care about the defects, but they kind of frown upon that, you know.
Right.
But if you can get a roll for a discounted price and just kind of practice with it, because honestly, I feel it's a different install because you have to use a lot of like liquid solutions and stuff to get it down. But once you lay it down, the whole install process is very similar to vinyl. And at the end of the day, just squeezing out water from like almost 651, like if you apply it wet or something, you know, you can spray it down, squeeze it out, make sure you don't have any moisture left, and then you trim later once it dries out.
What I don't get is the whole squeegeeing the water out. Like you're constantly squeegeeing the water out. Once you get it, it has to be completely, you know, the water's got to be completely out, right? At the end of the day.
Right. Yep.
And then once it dries, so what happens if you got like a little bit more water in it, like, and you don't get everything out? What's the worst case scenario?
I mean, worst case scenario, like honestly, I mean, I'm still kind of figuring it out. The installs they're pretty good, but every once in a while I get like a pocket of moisture that's too big to just kind of for it to evaporate or to kind of like breathe out. And you just get like a syringe, like one of those diabetic needles, the little tiny ones, and you basically syringe it out of the film. And 9 out of 10 times, that's pretty good. And then if you get like a huge level, then you can just lift up the film. Like with Suntech, I was working on a car, and I had pretty much finished everything, and I was getting ready to deliver it. And a panel that I had wrapped up 2 days before, I noticed there was literally like a rock underneath the film. I was like, how the heck did I not notice this? And I didn't want to redo the panel, so I basically just took warm water, poured it over the film to soften the adhesive, lifted it up, and sprayed a bunch of soapy water solutions in there, cleaned it out, and then laid it back down, and it was perfectly fine. So the film's really forgiving if you like leave moisture or something trapped under there. You can, even after a couple of days, and I've seen some guys do it after a couple of weeks, you can lift it up without damaging the adhesive and then lay it back down just fine.
Wow. That's insane. I fall into a rabbit hole when I start watching people on like YouTube installing PPF. It's so cool. It looks, you know, I want to say it looks so easy, but at the same time, there's like a lot of prep work that goes into that. The car's got to be 100% and everything's got to be cleaned and detailed nicely and all that jazz before you even, you know, if your humidity is different in your shop, you got to use, you know, 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 as opposed to a regular, you know, you got to be aware of what the temperature is like in your area because in the wintertime here, I know one dude was like, oh, you know, I got to use a little bit more, a little less soap in the wintertime or something like that. And cause it's a little bit cooler and you know, you got to switch it up, but you got to know your elements, you know?
Yeah, that's definitely like a learning curve on getting the solutions right. Like you said, I know when I first started, I mean, basically just water and like baby shampoo, or you could use like Excel gel, I guess. But the first few installs, I was putting way too much soap in that solution, and I was like, why the heck is it still not sticking? It just keeps popping up, and it's just I had put too much soap in the solution. It wasn't letting it crack down, and I had to flush it out with like alcohol. And I've been actually using white vinegar recently as a pack solution. That's been working pretty nicely for me over here.
Vinegar?
Yeah.
Really?
Distilled white vinegar. Because alcohol, if you use it too much or if your solution is too concentrated, it can burn the adhesive and just basically the film won't stick anymore. And vinegar doesn't do that. Like, no matter how much you spray at the film, it just neutralizes the soap and allows it to crack without damaging the adhesive or anything.
Wow. Shop must smell good with vinegar.
Yeah, it ends up smelling like feet at the end of the day. Like,
oh my God.
My girlfriend's like, did you install GPS today? Yeah.
No, I was trying to get all the flies.
Right.
That's a good trick for anybody who knows. If you're trying to catch the little fruit flies, you take a little bit of, it's actually apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar.
Yep. You put a piece of like plastic wrap over a cup, and you just fill it up a little bit with the apple cider, and take a Q-tip and just not a Q-tip, but a like a toothpick, and just poke little holes in it, and they climb in, but they can't get back out. It's crazy.
Yeah, those things are the most annoying, right? Like, you just have a couple flying around the shop and you can't get them.
Dude.
What the heck is the tracks of these things? In Oregon, it was crazy. They were everywhere. One of my coworkers left like a cup of yogurt out, and 15 minutes later, there was like 1,000 fruit flies inside his yogurt. Yeah.
Disgusting. Dude, I hate little flies and I hate bees, dude. I hate bees. My grandfather's allergic to bees, so I've always had I've always had a thing for bees. I actually got bit by a queen. It was a queen bee on my chest when I was a kid. I was hanging out. I forget what I was doing. I might have been doing like, I don't know, like chin ups on old school, and it was literally two posts, like a post up top and a post down to the ground, cemented, and I guess they built a little colony inside of the poles, and I was pissing them off, tugging on the pole, and dude, one got in my shirt, and I couldn't get it. Dude, this thing, I swear to God, it must have been I was a kid. I was probably like 7. To me, it looked like the size of a golf ball. Thing was huge, dude. And I couldn't get it out of my shirt. And I still have a scar from where it stung me, just underneath my like breastbone. I call it my third nipple. But it's like literally the size of like, I don't know, maybe like a dime. It just like bruised it, and it's never gone away since I was 7. It's insane.
That's crazy.
Right? Insane. And like back in the day, like it's old Portuguese remedy. They used to like, I think she put like vinegar on it or something to kind of like clean it. It's funny we were talking about vinegar, but I'm almost positive it was like vinegar she was trying to put on it to like help it do whatever the hell it was doing. And I'll never forget the smell. I was like bawling my eyes out, like the thing, like, oh, dude, it's crazy. The shit you do when you're young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Were you ever a daredevil when you were younger?
Not really, but I mean, I had a couple incidents. I mean, you talking about the bee kind of made me remember one. I had this little like pedal go-kart thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just imagine a go-kart, but instead of having an engine or anything, you had like little like bicycle pedals almost, and I just pedaled that thing down the hill in my neighborhood. And it had like an e-brake, so I pulled the e-brake and just like drift the thing around everywhere. And one day I was just riding down my hill, and same thing, a wasp just comes flying at me, nails me and stings me right in the chest. I freaked out and just go straight into the curb and
flipped
I
over.
Getting out. No, I just like smashed into the curb and came to a dead stop, and that's when I was running inside. I was like bawling my eyes out. I just got stung by a bee, and then I crashed and like banged my forehead on the steering wheel.
Oh my God.
Good times.
Yeah, man. Good times. What I wouldn't do to be that young again, man.
Right?
It's a trap. It's a trap. I swear. It's a trap to get
older. You to
older.
grow up, and then you grow up, and you're like, damn, why?
It's like shit. I'd rather go back to like high school times. It's just
right.
It's too much to be an adult now, especially in this day and age where everything's so fucking expensive. You know what I mean? I used to go to like the pharmacy, the local pharmacy, and get like 50 cents worth of candy and have a whole bag full. It's like, dude, you couldn't buy nothing for 50 cents right now.
Yep.
Pack of gum is like fucking $3. Come on, dude.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's like, it's crazy. And back in the day, you used to get the candy cigarettes, walk around your street like you cool shit with the little red tip, like you fucking hot shit. You know what I mean? Like the fucking big bazooka bubble gum with the little, remember when it used to be flat and you used to have two little ridges in it and it would have a little comic inside of it?
Yep.
God forbid you got a nice, like a good solid piece of gum, you fucking break a tooth or lose a tooth because of it.
Right, they were always like stale, and people like smash their teeth into them.
Yeah, they were all stale, but we didn't give a shit. Fucking 10 cents? Yeah, give me 10 of them, please.
Exactly.
You know, I got a whole $1. We'll get them done. Them were the days, man. Like we didn't care. If I could save money, all the money I spent on CDs and gum, not gum, but maybe like candy, like all that shit I used to spend pointless money on, I'd be a millionaire right now.
You probably only have like $200. It's so cheap.
Right? I used to go to like the CD store, dude. I grab a big ass case for like 100, fit 100 CDs in it. And now what do we do with CDs? Nothing. They collect dust. Right. Fucking everything's on your phone.
They still exist.
Yeah.
Everyone has Spotify or iTunes.
Oh my God. Remember when Napster came out? People were trying to
I remember that.
Burn CDs. They closed them down real quick, but that was the shit, man. You know what I used to do too is late at night, and this dating me to cassette time. They used to play I used to be really into like lots of house music and dance music, and at night they would play a specific station. At night they'd only play dance music for like a few hours. So I'd go to bed, I'd hit record on my cassette, and I'd record the whole session of that night's like house beats or dance beats, and I'd play them in my car on the way to work, the way to school, the next day. You know what I mean? Them were the days, dude. Technology was so simple back then.
Yeah, man. I mean, cassettes were right on the tail end of like my youth. And when I grew up around, like, CDs were pretty big. When I was like 4 or 5, cassettes were still around, I guess. But I remember just sliding them into. I'd have like my parents would buy me like random kid cassette tapes, and they'd just blast them, and they'd probably hate me for it. It's nonstop for like 5 years.
You try to like skip through a whole freaking thing, trying to like rewind or fast forward, hit play, figure out what track it is. It's like, holy shit, how things have become so much more simpler, where you hit a button, boom, hit playing the next song. It's just
talk to your phone, like, play the song for me, and it finds it, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Well, my era, dude, I remember like the 8-track still on my dad's old Pinto. You know what I mean? Playing that shit back in the early 80s. Like when I could run around in my back seat of my dad's car and nobody would say shit. You know, he'd be driving and I'm running around in the back seat. No seatbelt, no nothing back then. That's how it was, dude.
Yeah, man, it was way simpler back then, right?
Yeah, there was no such thing as like you know, strapping your kid down with the seatbelt. Like, you know what I mean? There'd be a cop behind you, and I'd be looking at him. You know what I mean? In my dad's back seat, just like, hey, hi. Nobody would say shit back then. That's kind of how it was. And then all of a sudden it's like, strap your kids in these, car seats, and everything's got to be like legit. Now it's all that I know now, because I'm, having my kids. It's, I've had to go through that era, but I remember, man, walking around back and forth, never putting the seatbelt on. But them.
Yeah, I remember, I think when I was just way younger, still early 90s or so. And we'd be riding around in the back of a pickup truck. I mean, I wasn't really technically allowed, but no one would ever bother you for it. You could be riding around town in the back of a pickup truck, kind of
right.
hooligan.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But what do you got as far as equipment and stuff at your facility? Well, what are you working with?
So I have the first printer that we bought back in 2013, I think it was. It's an older Versacam VT540.
Mm-hmm.
It's on its last leg, but basically just use it as a plotter now because it's a printing set.
Yeah, it's all in one.
Yeah, it doesn't really print. I mean, it prints, but the grays are pink, and then it'll just stop mid-print. I just gave up on it and saving it for a graph tech or something. And then I've got Latex 365 HP, and I've got some cheap China laminator here that works pretty well. I can laminate 250 square feet without a hitch, so can't complain there.
260 square feet?
Yeah, so basically half a roll, just let it laminate and doesn't run for veer side to side, just as long as I load it right, it's fine.
Wow. And you're laminating by yourself, man. Woo, I hated that. Yep. That was the worst part of my day, was laminating by myself, man.
Honestly, it's not too bad. I guess just because I've gotten used to it, kind of figured out my machine. I mean, I can get it set up in 2 or 3 minutes and worry-free. Just press the pedal or have it on auto laminate or whatever. Just let it run and stop it when it's near the end and just turn off the excess again.
Damn. Them were the days, dude. Spoiled.
I mean, I remember, back when we got the VT540, that was when I was doing banners and stuff, and I didn't really know about vinyl. And one of my dad's workers, he's his graphic designer, and he had been doing wraps and stuff on the side. He's like, "Oh yeah, when you print graphics, you wanna laminate it. There's this stuff called frog juice, in spray cans or a little 16 ounce, or a gallon or whatever, and you can just roll it on or spray it on."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're just liquid laminating everything. They can getting high off that stuff. It smells so bad.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
The most ventilated shop and just went crazy off the fumes.
Oh, them were the days with the frog juice. You used to buy that in a spray can and spray graphics with it.
About 10% of it actually gets on the graphics. The rest is just up in the air.
Yeah. It just evaporated into your soul.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, you'd have to do that shit outside. It's so bad for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. How many times you print? How many times you print with the banner? Forgot to put the print head up.
Oh, that happened. That happened a couple times. That was my least favorite part about this machine. It's I forget to put the print head down. I'm like, why does it look so grainy? What the heck is going on?
You gotta write a note on the printer. Make sure to remind yourself to put it down.
It's just funny, listening to some of your other podcasts and talk how you're talking about. I think you had a VT540S or what was it?
I had I had an SP540V. Old school.
You're I didn't have the take-up reel or anything, and so basically had a table and just set it up in front of the laminator.
Yep.
You'd run the material onto there, take a core and just kind of roll it by hand as it comes off the printer.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I remember doing that. That was good time. And then you forget, or it falls off the table, and it's all dirty, and damn it.
Yeah. or the fucking thing hits the floor, and then, you know, it hits the floor in the exact, like, spot that it almost ripples back up to the print head, and then you get a freaking... you get a print head strike, or the fucking thing bands a little. Oh my god!
And now you're like praying that your printer's still gonna print after the head strike. Like, please don't screw me right now.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! If you saw my print head, you'd be like, "Holy shit!" So my print head used to have this plastic cover over the top, right, where all the tubes would come down to the print head, and dude, I had it fucking duct taped together, all this shit. Like, it literally looked like it was just a shit show. Just when it would roll across, all you see is like duct tape. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's just, it's what you had to do back then. You know what I mean? It's kind of, you know, even when I had it, the thing was already, when I had purchased it, I was the third person to purchase it. And when I had it, it was probably already 4 years old. So once it hits, oh shit, excuse me, my coffee's fucking almost empty right now. Once it hits, I think my tech told me once it hits about 6 years, they stop producing replaceable parts for it. Like Roland does. They'll stop manufacturing any more parts for that. So you have to go third party after that. And dude, I had that printer for like almost like 6 years, I think.
Thanks.
Afterwards, I was scraping by trying to buy third party. Dude, an e-coder strip. Oh my god, those things were a dime a dozen. I was like, I think I was buying those things off eBay. It was crazy.
That's funny. Yeah, like this one, I've had a couple times where the head's clogged up, and I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to pay for the tech to come out and replace the head, and that's gonna be like $1,500 easy.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, this printer's not worth $1,500. What the heck am I gonna be throwing that much money at it for?
Bro, I can't.
I think that's HP's, I guess. You can just replace whatever the heck breaks on it.
Yeah, but they still have their own quirks on top of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Fucking maintenance fucking dogs over there. Those things are HPs. Holy shit, man. Fucking, I had to service my Roland. I printed the shit out of it. So I serviced it twice a year. 6 months and 1 year. I would service it. I would do a whole clean out. Come check me out. Bring parts with you just in case. And, you know, clean everything that needs to be clean. Make sure it's printing right, calibrated, all that bullshit, and call it a day. You know, $300, it was worth it because I would save a nightmare down the road getting it fixed. You know how it is. I mean, Rolands aren't they're not as maintenance or really kind of, I don't know. They're really not maintenance fucking, printers. They do everything themselves.
You print heads every once in a while.
Yeah. You change the sponges at the bottom, you know, every couple months. You never wipe the heads. You always soak the pad and press it up. You never wipe it because then you're bound to scratch it or get it messed up. Dude, I came in one day and I was totally losing my yellow. I lost my yellow for some reason. And I freaked out. I thought the same thing. Shit, I'm going to have to replace a head. Like, I'm not going to go spend $1,500 on this thing. You know what I mean? And I called my tech up. A good friend of mine, Ernie is his name. Called him up. He's like, Jeff, he's like, design a huge piece of yellow, straight yellow, 100% yellow, and just let the thing push that yellow through. He's like, I guarantee you'll fix it. I'm like, no fucking way. It's like dried up. I don't even know. Maybe the tube that runs from the cartridge to the head, it's probably dried up somewhere.
Dried up in there.
Yeah, something happened. I'm gonna have to replace that. He's like, no, try that first. Do a heavy cleaning, which, you know, typically isn't good to do a heavy cleaning. You're supposed to do
medium, right?
medium or light clean on it. Heavy's your last resort to get any of that bullshit out. You know what I mean? Because you're losing ink. Basically, you're pushing ink through.
Freaking pouring it down the drain.
Yeah, dude. No way. Like, ink costs money. I'm not doing that. So
yeah, exactly.
He's like, try that out first and see what happens. Dude, I printed out, I think, because my heads were 2 heads and each head was split in half. Like, cyan and black was a half a head, half and half on one.
Right.
And then yellow and magenta were on the other. So, dude, I was printing maybe like 4 or 5 inches. It was like magentally yellow, like on this thing. And I'm like, no way. Dude, literally like 6 or 7 more inches in, it just started blowing the yellow through it. And I'm like, holy shit, that worked.
It worked.
You know what it was? Was when the thing went, so at night it would do like a cleaning, right? And I think it would be an auto clean. It would clean like every 10 hours or some shit. And I think when it went back to go underneath the pads, it wasn't aligned right onto it. So it wasn't soaking. The heads weren't soaking on the pad.
Oh, interesting.
So it dried out on that one corner, right where the yellow was, and it messed it all up that next morning. Because I would keep my temperature pretty warm in my office where the printer was, so it wasn't always cold. But I guess it dried it enough to dry it out. Woo! Saved me a couple of grand right there.
Yeah, I remember something similar happened to me once where, like in my printer room, I had it air conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
Like the room would stay around anywhere from like 72 to 78 degrees.
Right.
And one weekend, I don't know what happened, but like the fuse blew and my air conditioner died, and the room that my printer was in, like if the air conditioner wasn't on, if it was 95 degrees outside, it'd be like 110 inside that room.
Wow.
Yeah, so the fuse blew, and that weekend it was like 110 degrees out, and the printer was like shaking inside there.
Oh,
I came back, and my magenta was completely gone, and I was like, oh god, what am I going to do? Called my tech out, and I kept trying test prints and stuff, and I couldn't get it to fire off, and he came in and was like, it might just be the hoses. Let's replace that first. And fortunately enough, the ink that had dried inside the hoses, and once he replaced them, it was printing fine again. But I had just about had a heart attack when I went to go print, and there was no magenta at all. I was printing like a burgundy, and they're just coming out brown. There's no red, there's no magenta shooting out.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yep.
You sit there, you soak the heads. That's usually the first thing you do is soak the shit out of the heads first for a few minutes. Get those heads nice and moist, and then hopefully that will clear up any of the gunk or anything in there that might get sucked up. But ooh, dude, my buddy had a problem where something happened where the vacuum from the hose wasn't going from the print head, from the cartridge to the head. It was actually sucking it back in through the tube, and it was screwing up his cartridges. Oh my god, dude, what a nightmare.
Those printers, man, you love them when they're working, and when they stop working, and everything just goes off.
Oh my god!
Freaking out, hoping it starts working again.
When they're good, they're great. But when they when they're down, woo! You're sweating bullets. You're thinking worst case scenario. You're thinking about the jobs you need to get done. You have no backup.
Exactly,
dude. It's a shitty spot to be in.
Like, fortunately, my HP, I mean, I do I don't do too much printing, to be honest. Like, I got it because I got a pretty good deal, and then after the fact, I learned about lead print wraps. I was like, damn it, maybe I shouldn't have bought a printer. But at the same time, it's nice. Like, if I'm installing a wrap and I screw up a panel, I can just walk around the corner, print my graphic, and everything's fine.
For sure.
The HP has been a little different. I mean, I have to feed out like 14 inches, like everyone else has said, to make sure it doesn't strike the film or whatever. And it has its quirks.
Yeah, it has its quirks for sure. But I think HP's come a long way, and I think the quality of the prints are pretty good. I think the luxury of being able to laminate right away is like bar none the best, because production is always a big thing. How soon can we get it done, and when can we get it done? And
right, exactly. Yeah, like
it's a win-win.
I remember at PGX Wraps we ran Roland. I don't remember exactly what model, but they were newer models at the time, like 2.5 years ago or so. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of our biggest issue. Like we're so busy, and I mean we're basically producing the wrap as the vehicles are being dropped off. We're like, all right, we'll just put it on the drawing rack for like an hour or two while we prep the vehicle, and then off the laminate. And most of the time it was okay, but then you get like those deep reds or like deep blues, or God forbid you have a
saturated. Yeah. The colors are saturated.
Just completely gone.
Woo! You get the little bubbles that they don't even pop out using the air release tool.
Yeah, you go like push the air out, and it's kind of like splattered all across the print almost. You have like this channel of air.
It's you know what that is, right? It's literally the ink getting trapped between the two pieces, the laminate and the print.
Yeah, the laminate film.
Yeah. That's all it is. And it's not even a bubble. It's just the ink's trapped there. It ends up going, and it sucks because a lot of us will say, hey, that thing will go away in a couple days. Just give it a couple days, don't worry about it. And it's literally that will actually go away. It will flatten out in a few days, but it really depends on the temperature and where you're located. But that will flatten out. I've seen it flatten out. Like I've had cars, overnight, and I'll have a couple of those, and then all of a sudden the next morning they're gone. They'll flatten out. But that is the luxury. Yeah, dude, it sucks because you're like, oh, what is this?
Saturated film. It's like almost installing a calendared non-air release vinyl. I mean, you're like holding onto the line and holding the film away so you don't get any air trapped beneath it, because then you're screwed if that happens. Yeah, but you know what? Installing it's one thing. Cutting it is another. Yeah, it's like getting jagged cuts. Jagged cuts, or you cut it and all of a sudden it curls up on you. Yep. Because it's the weight of it it's so saturated, the thing just wants to curl up, and you're like screwed because you can't tuck it. Oh, dude, been there. Yeah, well, not printer problems, but eco-solvent problems. Yeah. Oh my God. I think if you're an installer, you should install like at least like 4 or 5 wraps with oversaturated print, so you kind of have to figure that out. I think that's a good
put that underneath your belt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Put a couple oversaturated wraps, maybe a G-Wagon here and there.
Oh, G-Wagons. My God.
I did one, never again, man.
Yeah, dude. I had, who was it? I think it might have been, I want to say it was Sharif had, when he was on the show, he was talking about a G-Wagon. They were PPFing, I think. And he said it was just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, that car is just not fun to it sucks to take apart, wrapping it sucks. And not to mention it's like $160,000 car, so there's that whole side of it, right?
Yeah, dude. You know what? For a $160,000 car, they should make it look a little cooler.
Right.
I know the newer,
a Humvee.
Yeah, the new ones look kind of sweet, but those big chunky plastic rubber moldings on the side of the car,
right
like
along the doors.
Come on, that's so cheesy, dude. It's like make that the same color as the car. Make it
Right.
a true body panel. You know, or don't even put the stupid things on.
Right.
Like
it's just like that ugly rubber with like a thin foam piece in the center, and it just looks tacky and kind of cheesy.
Yeah, and those things suck to get off.
Yep.
You can't even get them off, really. You might as well, tape the shit out of it and just trim off of it.
Right. Yeah. Like I was talking to a guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we take them off and we just buy new ones."
Ugh.
Screw trying to take it off and reinstall the piece you just pulled off. It's probably best for hell, anyways. And
yeah, they get all waved out because they're like a hard plastic. If you don't take it off straight and you get a wave in it, it ain't going back the way you got it.
Exactly.
Ugh, miserable. What car do you think, or what project you have you done that you were like really like proud of?
That's a good question, actually. I don't think I've ever thought about that. Let's see. Project that I've been really proud of. I think recently I did an M4 GTS, in a stealth air bra. That was kind of cool. Just kind of like off the top of my head, because I'm kind of new to clear bra, and doing like a full stealth wrap was completely out of my wheelhouse. It was I wasn't 100% comfortable going into it. Just once I got it installed, I was like, okay, that came out pretty damn good, and I'm happy with it, and the customer was happy with it. So, very nice. Let's do that one.
What color was the car that you made it into stuff?
So mostly the car was already like a satin gray, so it had that satin paint job, and just put the XL stealth on it to protect that satin finish from any damages. Nice. Yeah.
That's got to be an achievement. That's that new SUV style Beamer, right? The GT?
No, it's the M4 GTS. So it's basically an M4, but it's all tracked out. So they basically strip the interior. It has a roll cage. It comes with a big wing and like a front splitter and everything, and with all these carbon fiber bits all over it.
No shit. That comes from factory like that?
Yeah, it comes factory. It doesn't have a back seat. It has a roll cage back there and has a wing on the back. And
damn.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool car.
Damn. They do make a GT though. Don't they make like a BMW SUV GT or some shit?
Yeah, they're like kind of like in between a wagon and an SUV. They're kind of weird. I think they have like a hatch. It's almost like a hatchback, but not really. It's weird looking cars.
Yeah, okay. So my mind wasn't failing me for a second, because I remember seeing a GT, because I remember seeing a review on it, and the biggest thing they were complaining about was you can't really look out the back window because it's so slanted.
Yeah, the back is just kind of chunky and weird. Yeah.
I'm a big German guy, but I'm like a Volkswagen. I'm like a Volkswagen Audi type guy. I don't really I like the Beamers, maybe because they're like so out of my wheelhouse as far as like price ranges, and not that an Audi isn't, but like Volkswagen's more my, demographic, so to say.
It actually got a older '86 Volkswagen Cabriolet.
You do?
Yeah.
What?
And yeah, there's a funny story behind that one. So I'm visiting my uncle. It's like about an hour from here, and his next door neighbor had this Cabriolet just sitting in the yard, and it was for sale. And we went over and asked how much he wanted, and he was like, "I want $600." I was like, "What?" Like, "I'll give you $400. The thing is not running, and I got to tow it home." So it's all right. Give me $400. That's the story behind that car.
Wow.
Like, $1,000 into a new transmission and suspension, and now it kind of runs. I'm gonna rewrap it pretty soon, so the paint's completely cooked, but.
That's a gem. You don't see too many cabriolets out there anymore.
Yeah, the top needs to be fixed. It's seen some better days. There's a couple holes and stuff in it,
but that's all right.
Yeah.
You're in sunny California. No need for a top.
Right, just put the top down. No one's ever going to see it.
Right. Who cares? Only drive it when the sun's out, which is like, what?
Yep.
52 weeks out of the year?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, this last couple of weeks, like all of January and February was just cloudy and rainy.
Yeah, you guys have been getting hammered with rain a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
Yeah,
that keeps them, fires down too for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, like the whole state was in a drought for a few years, and now all of a sudden only 3% of the state is in a drought. So that's good.
Yeah, that's real good. I mean, I forget probably just over the winter time, give or take, just all the fires you guys had. It was like literally like one after another.
Yeah, I mean, when fire season comes around, it's brutal, and I mean it's pretty sad, especially here because I'm so close to it. I mean, I haven't been directly affected by it, but you see a lot of like within 30, 40 minutes I hear people are having to evacuate, and like their houses might get burned down, and it's kind of it sucks to hear about. And then the fires finally get put out, and then it starts raining, and now they have to evacuate again because of mudslide warnings,
Mudslide warnings. Woo.
Yeah.
Wow. So you guys got to deal with a little bit of some crazy stuff over there, but
yeah, and most of it's fires and earthquakes. I think I haven't had a big earthquake in a while, so that's good. Hope knock on wood. But
do you remember the last one you felt?
Honestly, not really. Like the bigger ones I feel will be the kind of like passing aftershocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in my area, they aren't too bad. I feel like up in the Bay Area, it's a little bit worse.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like down here where I am, you mostly get aftershocks, and I'll get like a 5.0 or a 6 every once in a while. And it'll shake the house, and you kind of, like, is that a big truck driving by, or what's going on? And you'll laugh a little longer. It's perfect.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I've ever felt an earthquake before, ever, in my life. I wouldn't even know what that would feel like, or even that sense of urgency if I even was stuck, like, at my house and the earthquake would just pass through. I don't even know what to do. Like, I'd have to revert back to, what do they tell you? Get underneath your desk at school, or go between a doorway.
Yeah, get under a table or something, or right in between the doorway, yeah.
Oh my God. Stop, drop, and roll. That's only when you're on fire, right?
Yep. That's for the fire. We get plenty of those here. So that's a good one.
You gotta be
that's a good one to remember.
Yeah. You gotta be up to date with that one. Yep. Oh shit. Oh my God. Well, let me ask you, what's your favorite tool right now?
Favorite tool? I think it's a combo. I like my IR lamp and bumper pull. I know not a lot of people use them, I think, but as a solo installer, it's just so helpful. And you always have that extra set of hands that knows what they're doing to help you stretch around a corner on a bumper or something, And the IR lamp is, I mean, a good heat source, and the bumper pull is like having 2 extra hands right there. So it saves time and makes it easy installing as a solo guy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. To get that constant tension.
Yeah, definitely.
Is your IR heater the handheld, or is it the one on the wheels?
Mine's the one on the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit pricey. I mean, I think it's like $400 or $500 or something, but it saves me so much time and so many headaches, and then you can post-heat with it also, so that's really nice.
Yeah, set it to post-heat a panel while you're installing the other one.
Yep.
That's ideal.
Yeah, set it up on a bumper and let it warm up, and then take the IR gun and kind of get the temperature and make sure it's at the proper temp, and let it sit there for a minute or two.
That's awesome. Now the bumper pull, do you have like an Autoskins one, or do you have another brand?
I think it's Autoskins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Autoskins. But, I mean, it's like I could have used like a broomstick even, just cut it down, but I think, yeah, it looks kind of cool, and I'm too lazy to go find a broomstick to cut on the side.
I'm sure that's how us old school guys used to do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, I would have never even thought of that, to tack it on to a pole or a stick or something to keep that even tension. I would have, like, I just open up my fingers and I try to get as much, coverage with my hand behind it,
Right.
and maybe stick it to my arm, my forearm or something, and kind of work with it that way, working like an asshole. But, those were the old school methods,
Yeah, I think I got the idea from, I think I was watching Tate. He was doing a live stream, and he was wrapping the front bumper of some car in chrome and had his IR lamp in the bumper full, and he was just like, if you're a solo guy, this is going to save your life so many times.
Oh, I believe it.
A little bit of an investment up front, but it's so handy. And I went out and bought the setup, and after a couple of cars, like, yeah, I don't want to hold the torch in one hand, feed it while holding the film away, and then hopefully still have enough heat to pull it around the bumper by the time I put the torch down,
Oh, yeah, because it's constant heat. A bumper, you always have to have that heat transferred as you're going, because as soon as it cools down and you stop, you got to go back, you got to pop it a little bit, reheat that section, start all over. It's,
and if you're working with 3M, you should probably, like, tear the film because it's so brittle. And
right.
Yeah, I've had that happen. I'm, like, 2 hours into a bumper about to finish and go to pop up the corner to relax it and tear the film. Damn it.
Just that one little corner just made you throw away the whole panel.
Yep.
Man.
It's kind of funny though. I mean, after it happens a couple of times, I mean, I'm sure every installer has screwed a bumper at the very end, like we're almost done, and when something happens, we have to pull it off and redo it. And after a couple of times, it's just like, all right, that's part of the game. Take it off and start over.
Oh, dude. How many times I remember doing this once was I got to the end of the bumper on like a corner and the thing snapped on me, right? But it was a small snap. Not enough for me to, like, it wasn't fixable, like, to leave it. But, dude, I had to peel, I don't know, maybe 2 feet of the bumper and heat that up in order to make up for the rip. Yeah, dude. Try to get the stretch on it. Dude. Because there's no way. Think about it, dude. You're 2 hours into a bumper. Trimmed, whatnot. This is your last. You're looking at home base right now. Like, you're almost there. You're on third base and you're running to home base. And the fucking thing snaps. Well, what happens? Like...
Yeah, you're like, no way. Like, if I can save it, I'm going to try to save it.
Oh, hell yeah. You're going to do whatever you can. Even if it's peeling the fucking thing halfway to make up, to make up 3 inches. That's worth it. Absolutely. That's worth it.
Right. The worst is, like, if you've already trimmed some and then it's not, so you're like, okay, I only have a couple inches because I can't pull off the stuff that I trimmed.
Yep. That's why you should always leave your trimming till the end. Just flatten everything out, get it on, get it fitted, make sure you got enough room on either end, and then do your trimming. Because, you don't want to...
Yeah, man, you never know. You never know when you're going to need to squeeze a couple more inches out of the film.
That's what she said. Oh man. You never know, dude. It's just, if you trim it too early, you run the risk of something happening, and then you can't move it from that point that you trimmed over. Like, that's it. Like, I always save the trimming to the very end. Glass everything, get everything nice, get all your flat spots squeegeed, and then work on your knife skills and cutting out your your holes or your inlay where your inlays are, cut those out, and to seam everything. It's just better practice doing it that way. It's cutting cutting it as you go. I feel is kind of backwards, you know.
Right. I get totally agree there.
No, crazy, dude. Well, we're gonna be creeping over 2 hours here, roughly, man, and I know.
Time's been flying.
Right, dude? It goes quick, bro. It goes quick, man. 2 hours is nothing sometimes. But I want to ask you, dude, is there anything that you want to talk about or bring up that we didn't talk about during our conversation? I know we didn't touch too much maybe about training or anything. Are you planning on doing any type of training coming up?
Yeah, actually, I've been wanting to. I signed up for the Avery training and certification.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a year and a half ago, and then I just ended up not being able to go, and I got to reschedule that. But yeah, I think training is good. I mean, obviously, like I said, I think finding a shop that's willing to train you and teach you and offer like a good learning and working environment is better, just because you can get the hours in.
Right.
And that's what it's all about at the end of the day, getting the hours in, working the film and installing and stuff. And I hope to get that Avery certification in my belt and maybe someday do like the 3M certification. But I mean, the biggest thing is it's such a big time commitment, right? Like the Avery one is, I think, 4 days with the class and the certification exam, and then 3M is like a week or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, if you do the refresher and then take the course at the end. Right,
and then, I mean, all the travel expenses and stuff on top of the certification expense.
Yeah.
If you don't pass, then you have to reschedule to retake it.
Right.
It's a big investment. It's definitely worth it. Even if you don't get any jobs out of it, then I guess it's kind of like affirmation, like, all right, I'm getting up to at least 50 certifications.
Right. I mean, 3M, the good thing about 3M is you do get some jobs out of it.
Right.
Avery, you kind of don't, but you get the certification regardless. And for me personally, to have a certification, I think that's going to be the wave of the future. It's where people are going to look for some type of certification in the craft, in the trade, in order to get those big jobs. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I guess it just kind of depends on which direction you want to take your business. Like, as a business owner, I've kind of been thinking about like how big I want to grow my business.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's always talking about making like $1 million business or whatever. And like, I've been kind of debating whether or not I want that for myself. I mean, it'd be nice to have a big business, but it also comes with its own set of problems, and
right.
It also involves a lot of time. And like, I'm happy where my business is at right now, and I don't know if I'd be happy making $200,000 more a year or whatever the number is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of finding the balance of maybe I don't need to make an extra $50K a year. And
yeah, man, it's
like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're comfortable where you're at and you like your pace and you're able to live your life and not feel stressed and still be able to make, a decent living where you can live off of it and provide.
Right. Finding that balance between enjoying your work, paying your bills, and having a life outside of work also.
Yeah. That's the key, and that's the trick, man, right there, is finding that balance and sticking to it,
Right. And it kind of circles back to what we were talking about earlier, with like scheduling and people spreading themselves for like 20-hour days. It's like, yeah, it's nice that you have all the extra money, but you don't have any time to enjoy all the other things,
Life. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like, yeah, maybe you're making an extra 40, 50K a year, but you're neglecting whatever relationships that are important to you, and now you're just trapped at work, and what are you really working for at the end of the day?
Yeah. How's that saying go? Don't live to work, work to live, or the other way around, something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. One of those two. I hit the mark on one of those two, but you know, it's absolutely true.
It covers the bases, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's finding that equal playing ground where, you know, you don't get caught up in your work, and there's nothing wrong with loving what you do. I mean, we all love our trade, love our craft. I mean, we wouldn't be doing, we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't. So, you know, to wake up and create graphics and decals and wraps for different companies every day, and you're not always in your shop. You're mobile. You're going to install something outside of your shop, and you know, having that luxury of being able to, you know, be in your shop, be outside of your shop, enjoying the weather outside. You're not stuck behind a cubicle or a building all day with no windows. We got it pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And I'm kind of like I've been a big subscriber to Gary Vee for the last year or so.
Yeah.
And like he says, I mean, you gotta love what you do, right? If you're going to be doing it 40 to 50 hours a week, that's a huge commitment.
Right.
Your day-to-day life. And if you don't enjoy it, then what the heck are you doing?
Absolutely.
What?
No. Well, in that note, we can probably wrap this thing up with that.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome, dude. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today to come and chat. Let everybody know where they could find you on social media or website, bro.
Yeah, of course. So on Instagram and Facebook, and I guess my website is just Vaia Design, Vaia Design. Most of my stuff is on Instagram and just kind of get filtered to the other two places. But yeah, I'm pretty active there. And that's the best place to check out my work and see what I'm up to on the day-to-day.
Awesome, dude. Well, man, appreciate you taking the time again, and I wish you...
Yeah, thank you. I mean,
yeah.
It's been fun. I mean, I love the podcast. I mean, it's such a cool resource of being able to hear what other installers are doing, and it's nice to sometimes hear that everyone's going through the same obstacles and hurdles that you are on any given day, you know, from like putting on this house to clients not showing up or whatever the heck the situation is. And that's that there's other people out there dealing with the same thing, whether it be a one-man shop or like a 40-person machine, you know?
Right. And that's what I love about it, man. Everybody's got a different story. Everyone's got a different way of doing things. And at the end of the day, we're all out there hustling and trying to provide and, you know, be happy, you know. And we're not the only ones out there dealing with these situations. And I'm kind of glad I'm kind of that source where it bridges that gap, you know, where, you know, you're sitting in your shop, you're like, there's no way I'm the only one over here not, you know, getting work today or having a hard time with marketing today or whatnot in my area when, you know, you hear the podcast and someone the week before is like, man, I don't know what's going on with Instagram, but I'm getting no hits. And it's like, oh, cool. I'm not the only one. It's, you know, it's refreshing to hear that you're all the way in the East Coast, in the West Coast, and I'm all the way in the East Coast, and you and I are going through pretty much the same exact thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then, like, as a one-man shop also, I mean, just like us solo installers don't really interact with other shops or other installers. We're just so busy doing our own thing. And it's kind of nice to be able to hear from them, or at least kind of interact that way through your podcast, like just listening to other people in the industry. It's just cool.
Yeah. Knowing them without knowing them type of thing.
Yeah. Get exposed to so many people. Like, I just reached out to a few people, like, digital band from
Max Auto.
Yeah, and like Quad, and a bunch of other people that you've had or have you posted. Like, I actually did a couple installs with Reptilian recently.
Reptilian,
cool.
That's my boy right there.
Met him through the podcast. He's still good.
Yep.
And, yeah. And I mean, it's just awesome. You're connecting a bunch of us to each other, and I mean, it's bringing out people that probably wouldn't have had another outlet to interact with the community. You know? That's cool.
Right. And that's the best part is that, having these guests on the podcast is one thing, and sharing their stories and letting everyone kind of, more or less interact or get to know them in a personal level. But, what you guys are doing outside of the podcast is like amazing, because at the end of the day, like you just said, it's you guys are somewhat networking with each other from the podcast. It's everyone's reaching out to each other. Hey, I didn't know you were down the street, or you're an hour away, man. If I got an install, I need an extra pair of hands, you're right there, and it's a win-win, for people that are in the industry for a year, 2 years, or been in the industry for 20 years, and it's bridging that gap, and what you guys alone are taking away from it, and what you guys are doing outside of the show is just, and I see it, I hear it, I get DMs all the time, like of small stories of how I networked two people together without even trying. It's just, they just went out and they were like, damn, you're only this far away from me, or you're right down the street, I never knew you were there. And it's a funny thing, and it's taken that stigma out back to like the old time, of kind of not networking and everybody keeping to themselves. This has opened up the doors a little bit to everybody kind of, meshing together, so to say.
Yeah, man.
It's amazing. I love it. I love every week doing a new show, having, one recording one podcast a week or two podcasts a week, and, sharing the stories and hearing certain scenarios, and I just love it. I look forward, as much as you guys look forward to Mondays, getting these new episodes out. I look forward to putting them out and creating the artwork and the designs and the sneak peek stuff. I have
all the covers and stuff.
Yeah,
you've been getting pretty creative with them recently.
Yeah. It's been a game changer since I started it, and every week I try to kind of one up the week before's, and it's good. It's good. You know what I mean? I like to bring a little bit more comedy to the show.
Yeah, just make it more lighthearted, and then just kind of keep it fun and light. I mean, that's kind of what I feel like this industry is, right? We're all just, I don't want to downplay it, but at the end of the day, it's just putting a big sticker on a car and don't get too fancy with it.
Right. Yeah. It's a great trade, and it's done me well, man, for the past since 2005. It's done me tenfold easily. I owe a lot. I owe a lot to a lot of people in the industry that are, doing it now, and were doing it back then when I was doing it, that helped me out to understand how, how this business could take you to a new level, and you can see a lot of the world with it, and it's just amazing. Basically, your doors are open to this industry. You can open up a shop, you can be mobile and see the world. You don't have to stay in one place. Like, there's no other job like this,
And then, like you said, there's the installer side of things. There's producing. You can be a shop that just prints graphics, or you can be just a designer, or you can be an all-in-one guy. And there's so many options and so many avenues to take it. It's pretty awesome.
Right. You do what you want with it, but either way, you're going to be happy. You're going to make money. You're going to be able to provide. That's a win-win in my book.
Yep. Well, all right, man. I'll let you go.
Well,
sorry. It's getting late over there on your end, no?
Yeah, a little bit. 9:30. It's not that bad.
Yeah, you're just at 4, or else you would.
You're just creeping the dinner time for you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think at the time I'd be heading out of the shop right now. So.
Yeah. And here I am. I'm almost going to bed like an old timer. Well, dude, again, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, dude. I wish you well for the rest of 2019, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, and again, appreciate you having me and everything that you've been doing, and kind of opening up doors for all of us to interact and kind of get to know each other.
What's up, folks? Hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Thank you to everyone that tuned in, and thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to IBOW Training, offering a variety of training options such as training at your shop, group training classes nationwide, and even private design print profile training through remote login. Learn more about IBOW at ibowtraining.com. Thank you also to We Print Wraps, the industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps, offering free nationwide shipping across the U.S. and Canada on all orders over $500. And don't forget, exclusive listeners of this podcast save 5% on your next order when you use promo code all wrapped up at checkout. See why industry pros love them and visit WePrintWraps.com. Till next time, folks, that's a wrap.